What's up, you guys? Anthony here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through exactly how I write brand new advertorials for any of my dropshipping products that I want to test in literally less than 15 minutes using AI. And this is one of the easiest workflows that you can start to implement if you're interested in starting to test advertorials for any of your dropshipping products. And these are the exact systems and strategies that I'm teaching all of my students inside of our private course and community, Guide to Your Ecom. That's allowing students to get results like the ones you see on screen. So if you are interested in learning how to start and scale your first branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day, check out the first link in the description. Otherwise, today I'll be showing you exactly how I write advertorials just like this using a workflow that I haven't really seen on YouTube. So I think it'll be very interesting. And so that by the end of this video, you can walk away, if you follow this video step by step, having written a validated advertorial for your dropshipping product. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, for those of you that don't know what an advertorial is essentially a landing page that is designed to look like an article, but in actuality is an advertisement. So advertisement, article, advertorial. And so the purpose of an advertorial is to send traffic from Facebook, from Google, from Display, Taboola, to this landing page. And the goal with this landing page is to essentially pre-sell the traffic, or to sell the traffic that you're getting on the product through a story, through a narrative, in a way that doesn't feel salesy. And as you guys know, if you've ever walked into a car dealership, you probably don't like being sold to. Neither do customers on Facebook or people who are on Facebook. What they really want to do is engage with their phone, with the platform. And so an advertorial is designed to look like an article. And you'll see here, now obviously on desktop, it is quite obvious that we are selling something. But if we view this in a mobile view, you don't actually see any mention of the product. I mean, you see it up here, but it's kind of like, looks like breadcrumbs rather than like an actual product listing. First thing that's going to jump out to you is the headline here at the top. Top US doctor reveals, I've spent 25 years treating knee arthritis. Here's why I no longer recommend pills or surgery. Then you have this image here, and then you have this really strong first sentence, and then you have the headline right here. So there's really no mention of the product. In fact, if you scroll through this, the whole point of this is not to sell the product, right? We haven't made any mention of the product. It's actually a story about this doctor who basically one morning woke up, knee pain was crazy bad. His knee gave out beneath him. And then right around the halfway point is when you actually see a call to action that says get 50% off now. But as you scroll through the actual story, if you're paying attention, you don't actually see any mention of go here to buy this, right? It's still all about the story until you get to here, which is where we say try bare balance before you repeat my mistakes. Then you start to see some mention of the product, and then you get a call to action. So it's only about 50%, actually even less, maybe 40, 50% of the way down to the page where you actually start to see direct call to actions and links to buy the product. And then at the very bottom is when you start to see the full call to action. You'll also notice here there's no mention of price. And so again, the purpose of the advertorial is to tell people a really interesting story or a narrative that persuades them to want to buy the product without any of the buying pressure, right? So you can imagine by the time someone reads this, they are completely sold on everything that the product does because they've read this story of a guy who has the same problem as them and has now overcome that problem. So when it comes to advertorials, the most important part of the advertorial is what we call the lead. The lead of the advertorial is the first 100 to 600 words or so, and the lead is pretty much the entire section before you introduce the product. And this is the section I'm going to be teaching you how to write in this video because it is the most important. Because ultimately, once you introduce the product, not that you can do anything that you want or that you can introduce it however you want, but really, as with any landing page, whatever's happening up at the top is the most important stuff. And the lead is ultimately the story that's responsible for getting people to either want to click or not being interested and bouncing. And so I'll take you inside the funnel analytics for this funnel. The funnel that we've just launched this morning for testing. And as you can see, we've already gotten one order on this funnel. And you'll see we have about a 44% advertorial click-through rate. So 44% of the traffic that we drive makes it to the sales page. And of that traffic, we've had 2 people get to the checkout page and ultimately purchased. So let's walk through how to create an advertorial like this and how you can create different leads in literally a matter of minutes. So you're going to need a couple things before we get started. Number one, you already know, ChatGPT, the GOAT. And there's going to be another thing that I ask you to do, which is at least once you need to do one deep research session for your product. And your deep research session can literally be as simple as, hey ChatGPT, I need your help to do deep research and to create a deep research prompt that will allow me to understand everything I need to know about my product, including market sophistication, stage of awareness, core market desires, benefits, problems, pain points, desired outcomes, with the goal of writing a direct response advertorial. I need to understand everything about this market, including other competitors, what our true deepest desires are for our audience, and I need about 6 pages of total research for my research. So help me create a prompt that will generate this for me. Okay, so you need to do this at least once. Okay, what we're doing here is we're creating a prompt, and then once it creates this prompt, you will then enter this back into ChatGPT, and then you will get a research document. Okay, it's going to give you it's going to give you a research prompt. Then you're going to enter that research prompt with the deep research tool enabled. And then once you do that, you will get what is called a market research sheet. I'll show you what the finished version of that looks like. Okay, research, right here. Okay, so you need a document that looks like this. Okay, deep research, as you can see, mine is 21 pages. And the purpose of this is not for you to read the entire thing step by step. The purpose of this is once you're finished doing the deep research, you can then drag this into ChatGPT. So that's step one completed. Okay. The next thing that you need is a advertorial swipe. And an advertorial swipe is essentially an example advertorial of one that you want to replicate in structure, ideally one that's already working. So I like to use GetHooked for this because it's the easiest tool for finding advertorials. And I have a couple of brands here that I've already been spying on. We'll take this brand here and we'll grab one of their working advertorials. You can see almost 8% of their traffic is going to this one. So this advertorial, we want to swipe this. And what that means is we want to basically take it and give it as an example to ChatGPT because we want to copy the winning structure. So what we're going to do is then go to link to PDF. Okay, web to PDF convert. You download this. Download that file, and then we go back into ChatGPT. We're going to upload that new article or advertorial. Then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up a Twitter profile, and we're going to grab some advice from one of the top advertorial writers and whose advice I've been following and has been making lots of money. So I am going to grab that really quick. This is a guy called Brandon Ham, one of the best advertorial writers in the world. We're just going to go to his profile, type in lead, and he has 3 different leads that we can try. And these are his basically top performing leads or basically frameworks for the initial story. So then we're just going to paste that in. All right, so now that we've pasted this in, we have the research, we have the swipe, and we have 3 different leads that we can try. So all we have to do is enter a space here, and we just tell ChatGPT, I need your help to write a 100 to 650 word lead for my advertorial about my product that I just gave you research on. I've attached 3 different leads that you can try in addition to 1 example swipe file from my competitor's top performing advertorial so you can understand the framework and the format and structure that an advertorial should be in. Come up with 3 different concepts for a lead for our core customer demographic and the pain points that they have. All right, so first we're just coming up with 3 different kind of angles for it. So we're not actually writing the lead just yet. We want to see what ChatGPT thinks in terms of what we should write. So let's get rid of this. Okay, so we have an education-based lead, like that one. Okay, wait, it's actually writing the lead, so we'll say don't write yet, just give me the leads. Like, just give me the lead types. Okay, so I have an education-based lead. Okay, we have a disruption-based lead, the knee patch that's making doctors nervous. I'll tell you right now, disruption and like authority-based angles and leads work really well for pain relief. This one's awesome though. They said my only option was surgery. Okay, cool. So now we have 3 different leads and 3 proven structures. So now all we have to do is start asking ChatGPT. Let's write this lead. There we go. So here's your first sentence. They said my only option was surgery. And as you can see, it is, I'm actually getting lost in the story. I'm not trying to glaze here, but it's actually quite good. Okay. Yeah, I still remember the moment the doctor looked at my x-ray and said, we're getting close to needing a knee replacement. Okay. Awesome. So now we already have like, this isn't like you want to put this into your page builder or anything, but you have a concept to go off of and start to refine and further edit. So if I was actually going to run this advertorial, first thing I would say is, one thing that's clearly missing is subheadlines, just like in the example swipe file advertorial. The subheadlines are super duper important because they tell story and narrative to the people who just skim the page. I don't know why it says swipe file while Victoria. Wow. So sorry, who just skimmed the page. And then another thing that's missing. Second thing that's wrong is that you introduce the product way too early. In the lead, all we're doing is telling a story that leads into the next section we'll write, which is the product discovery phase. Okay, so we're just correcting the copy here a little bit. I don't know why I did this. Okay. I don't know why it's giving me 2 responses early. Dang. I'm already liking this side, as you can see, but the subheadlines are super duper important because if someone's going to skim through your page, what are they going to walk away from? Or what are they going to walk away with? Okay. And as you can see, this is almost good to go. We have the subheadlines there. And last thing that we'll say, and you'll see this all the time when you're writing with ChatGPT, so you do have to correct it. So we'll just say, I prefer this response, and we'll say, the writing here is really, really short and choppy. It doesn't flow like an actual narrative, and it impedes the storytelling. So I'm using diction because typing is a lot slower. Okay, so we're basically telling it like, why is it speaking in these like 1 to 2 sentences? Okay, and this one should be much, much, much better. Okay, and you'll see in like any good advertorial, they're not like short sentences like that. Like they really are longer format, like, you know, little chunks of sentences. You'll have like one-off lines, but if your advertorial is just a series of these, no one's going to read that. So let's go back. All right, this is much, much, much better, right? You can see a massive difference, right? Let's see, like at first it was a dual ache in my right knee. Then you have a really good paragraph here. If you go back to the top, like, yeah, it was just speaking way too choppy. Okay. Awesome. And I'll say it one more time. We'll do it one more time. It still feels really choppy. Don't be afraid to max out the 650 word limit and to really write in the words and the emotions and feelings of our customer demographic. Don't sacrifice narrative flow for word count. Press enter. Okay, now this should be much stronger, and this should be the final version that we walk away with. Amazing. Super good subheadline. Look at that. This is really good too. I didn't realize how much I'd miss something as simple as walking. That's crazy. Not that missing walking is crazy. The fact that it spit this out is crazy. Solutions felt like a cruel joke. First it was pills. So you can see like the natural evolution. That's why I never just like take the first thing that you get. Because this was good too, but there's no subheadlines. So if someone sees this, they're just going to skip. This one had the subheadlines, but the text is just, there's not enough storytelling and world building. Like you want to treat this like an actual narrative. Like if you were writing a blog, you would not write like this. You would write closer to this. So I noticed that whenever I'm doing writing tasks with ChatGPT, you have to continuously tell it like, hey, max out the word limit. Don't sacrifice. It tends to write very choppy because it wants to be as efficient as possible, but that is not good for advertorials. So now we have something that looks a lot like an actual advertorial. And the last thing I will say is give me 3 headline options. Well, very intriguing. Okay. And then while that's cooking, we're going to go open a Google Doc. And once we have the Google Doc open, we are going to paste in our advertorial lead. And again, this is just the lead. So we haven't written the rest of the actual advertorial. This is literally just that first half section that I was showing you right here. Okay, so we have that section written, and now we have to pair that with a headline. Boom. I was weeks away from knee surgery, then this changed everything. A lot of these are good. You want to pick one that obviously leads into the rest of the story and makes sense. So for me, that's going to be this one. Okay, so I was weeks away from knee surgery, then this, you could say like weird remedy, right? Something like a keyword like or key phrase like that incites curiosity because we were like weird remedy. So make that bold. And there you have it. That is your advertorial lead written in about 16 minutes of recording this video start to finish. So as a quick recap, this is only the first half of the advertorial, but it is the most important section of the advertorial because ultimately it is the story that is responsible for driving the angle that you select with your landing page, as well as the quality of traffic that you actually drive to the sales page. Because ultimately, introducing the product down here at the bottom is pretty much the same for any product. You're going to introduce the product, you're going to talk about the benefits, you're going to use some reviews. So that part tends to not be as important as what's happening in the first half, because ultimately the first half, again, impacts so much of what happens on the landing page as well as the next pages. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed as always. I'm actually going to leave a link to this example advertorial if you guys are interested in looking at this in further detail. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you did, and you want to get more actionable insights to help start and scale your first branded dropshipping business, and again, check out God's Your Ecom. First link in the description. We just updated the branded dropshipping masterclass to the 2.0 version. We literally go step by step on everything that you need to start and scale your first branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day. And yes, we actually have had people hit $1,000 a day, such as Tyler, who scaled all the way up to $2,500 a day using all the strategies and systems that we learn in this course. In addition to product research and Shopify store, we walk through advertorials, how to write them exactly as you just saw in this video, in addition to setting up Funnelish, which for some reason no one wants to make videos about, which I will do in the future. So setting up Funnelish, setting up the sales page, and you even get access to my complete template that you guys saw here. So that's going to do it for this video. If you want access to the masterclass, Q&As, over like $6,000 worth of spy tools, God's Your Ecom, first link in the description. Otherwise, have a good rest of the day. Peace.